Okay, so in today's topic, so we are going to discuss regarding the glycosides. So as the name indicates, so the glycose, so means they contains the sugar atom, and so along with the non-sugar components. So in simple words, these glycosides, so they are the organic compounds, so either from the plant or from the animal origin, so which upon hydrolysis or enzymatic or acid hydrolysis, so they are going to give one or more sugar moieties or sugar compound along with a non-sugar compound or non-sugar moiety. So when coming to the sugar moiety, that is known as the glycone, and when coming to the non-sugar moiety, that is known as the aglycone or the genin, or in simple words, so they are joined together by the glycosidic linkage, and they are going to possess the therapeutic effect on or the pharmacological effect on the humans and on the animals. So they are the organic compounds, so either from the plant or from the animal origin, so which is made up of two compounds which upon enzymatic hydrolysis, so that is going to break down so into two compounds. So one is known as the sugar compound, that is known as the glycone, and one is known as the non-sugar compound, that is known as the aglycone, and they are joined together by the glycosidic linkage. So as in case of your disaccharide or polysaccharide. So these two sugars, so they are joined together by the glycosidic linkage. So here also, instead of two sugar, one sugar and one non-sugar, they are joined together by the glycosidic linkage. So when coming to the properties, so they are crystalline or they are the amorphous compounds which are having solubility in water and the dilute alcohol, and they are insoluble in the organic solvents like the chloroform and the ether. So they are simply water or they are alcohol soluble. So when coming to the aglycine moiety, so it is soluble in the organic solvents, so like the your petroleum ether or chloroform and so on. So when coming to the glycone or the sugar moiety, that is soluble in the water or the this alcohol. When coming to the non-sugar moiety, so they are soluble in the organic solvent, that is the chloroform or ether or any of the organic solvent. So when coming to the glycosides, so they can be easily hydrolyzed by the mineral acids or the water or enzyme. So means they can be easily undergo hydrolysis, and they are going to split into the sugar and the non-sugar compound, and they are optically active. So means they are going to show optical rotations, and they are levorotatory. So means when you are going to pass through the plane polarized light to the solution of the glycoside, that is going to converted or diverted towards the left. So hence they are having the levorotatory property. So when coming to the glycosides, so although they contains the sugar unit, but it can't show the reducing sugar test positive. So means although it contains the reducing sugar, but it is joined together by the glycosidic linkage, so hence it is not free for undergo reduction. So hence it is not going to show the Felling's test positive until the bonds are splitted or until they are hydrolyzed. So means they are not going to show the Felling's test positive unless and until they are being hydrolyzed. So once they are hydrolyzed, the sugar and the non-sugar moieties are being separated, and the functional group of sugar, so it can be easily undergo reduction, and hence it is going to show the Felling solution or Felling's test positive. So when coming to the glycosides, so they contains the sugar, but still the therapeutic activity, so it is depend on the aglycone or the non-sugar portion. So when coming to the sugar portion, so that it is going to facilitate the absorption of the glycosides and helping to reach the site of the action. So means in simple words, so this sugar portion that will help in the transportation of the non-sugar portion to the site or where you are going to achieve the action. So means the sugar that is only going to facilitate the absorption or the movement of the aglycone portion, although it doesn't have any of the physiological or the pharmacological property. The pharmacological properties mainly depend on the aglycone portion. Okay, so when coming to the in plant role, so in plants these glycosides, they are going to facilitate the growth and protection. So means they are going to help the plant in growth, and they are going to help the plant in protection against the foreign invaders like the insects and the small, that is the beetles and all. So when coming to the classification, so you are going to classify the glycosides into various types. So like depending upon the nature of the non-sugar moiety or the A-glycan, or depending upon the chemical nature, depending upon the sugar moiety, depending upon the glycosidic linkage, depending upon their taxonomy or family, or depending upon the their pharmacological properties. So you are going to categorize the glycosides into various types, but the main classification is the chemical classification. So depending upon the chemical nature, so or the non-sugar moiety or the A-glycan, so you are going to categorize the glycosides into various types. It is the anthraquinone glycosides. So example is the senna, aloe, the cascara and the rhubarb. So the steroidal or the cardiac glycosides, the example is the digitalis, quill, stropentus, hevatia and so on. And so when coming to the saponin glycosides, the example is the licorice, brahmi, dioscorea, ginseng. And so when coming to the cyanogenetic glycosides, the example is the wild cherry bark or the bitter almond. When coming to the isothiocyanate glycosides, the example is the black mustard. So when coming to the flavonoid glycosides, the example is the ginkgo or the citrus fruits like your orange, your lemon, okay, and the buckwheat. So when coming to the coramine glycosides or the furocoramine glycosides, the example is the visnaga, celery fruit, mileberries, ami and all. So when coming to the aldehyde glycosides, the example is the vanilla pods. When coming to the phenolic glycosides, the example is the beaberry and the salsify. So when coming to the steroidal glycosides, the example is the solanum, xanthocarpon or solanum. So when coming to the bitter or the miscellaneous glycosides, the example is the henna, chirata, kalmek or gudmar. Okay, so depending upon the non-sugar moiety, we are going to categorize the glycosides into various types. That is the anthraquinone glycosides, again the example senna, aloe, cascara, rhubarb, the steroidal or the cardiac glycosides. So means they are having the property on the heart, so hence they are known as the cardiac glycosides. The example is the digitalis, quill, stropentus. When coming to the anthraquinone glycosides, so they are having the laxative property. So means they are going to cause the evacuation of the bowel, or they are going to help in relieving the constipation. So hence they are the senna, aloe, cascara, rhubarb, they are all are having the purgative or laxative property. So when coming to the cardiac glycosides, they are going to put potential, or they are going to increase the force of contraction of heart, hence they are used in the treatment of various cardiac disorders like CCF, angina pectoris and so on. So when coming to the example, that is the digitalis, quill and the stropentus. So when coming to the saponin glycosides, so means they are having soap like property. So once you are going to add into water, that is going to produce froth or foam. So hence they are known as the saponin glycosides. The example, the licorice, brahmi, dioscorea, ginseng. So when coming to the cyanogenetic glycosides, so means they are going to generate cyanogenetic acid or cyanide. So hence they are known as the cyanogenetic acid. So the example is the wild cherry bark or bitter almond, or even your apple seed, they also contain the cyanogenetic glycosides. So when coming to the isothiocyanate glycosides, so means they are going to contain the isothiocyanate functional group. The example is the black mustard. So when coming to the flavonoid glycosides, so means that is going to impart the flavor. So hence they are known as the flavonoid glycosides, or they are going to impart the color. So example is the citrus fruit, blackwood, ginkgo and all. When coming to the coramine glycosides, again the example is the ammi, visnaga, celery fruit and all. So when coming to the aldehyde glycosides, the example is the vanilla pod. When coming to the phenol glycosides, example is the beaberry, salsify. So when coming to the steroidal glycoside, example is the solanum. So when coming to the bitter or miscellaneous glycosides, the example is your henna or mehendi, chirata, kalmek or gudmar. So when coming to the second classification, that is depending upon the nature of the sugar moiety. So if they contain the glucose as a that is the glycogen part, that is glycone part, so then they are known as glucosides. So if they contains the rhamnose as a sugar part or the glycone part, then they are known as the rhamnosides. So if they contains the pentose as the sugar part, then they are known as the pentosides. So if they contain fructose as the sugar part, then they are known as the fructosides. So if they contains the arabinose as the sugar part, then they are known as the arabinoside. So depending upon the linkage between the glycone and the aglycone portion, or depending upon the glycosidic linkage, so they are categorized into 4 types. One is the C glycosides, so means they are joined together by the OH functional group of sugar and the CH functional group of the A glycone, since they are known as the C glycosides. So example is the cascara or the aloe. So in coming to the O glycosides, so like it is joined together by the OH functional group. So example is the senna, digitalis and so on. So in coming to the S glycosides, so they contains the SH functional group which is attached to the OH functional group of the sugar and the non-sugar. So they are known as the S glycosides. The example is the black mustard. So next is the N glycosides. The example is the nucleosidase. So depending upon the therapeutic nature, again the glycosides are categorized into various types, like the cardiac glycosides, means they are having the effect on heart. So hence they are used in the treatment of various cardiac disorders. So like the digitalis, the Stophanthus, Thevertia, Squill and so on. So when coming to the laxative glycosides, so means they are having the laxative property. So means that is going to cause the evacuation of the bowel, or that is going to relieve the constipation. So example is the senna and the aloe. So when coming to the anti-ulcer glycosides, so that is the licorice. So even the licorice, that is having the anti-inflammatory property, as well as it is used as sweetening agent. So the main, it is having the anti-ulcer property, since it is used in the treatment of the various ulcers of the stomach and the duodenum. So when coming to the bitter glycosides, so like these are having used as bitters. So means they are going to stimulate your tongue, and they are going to increase the appetite, or they are going to treat the appetite. So hence they are known as bitters. So means they are going to increase your or stimulate your taste bud, so that is going to secrete more of the saliva, and that is going to increase the hunger. So they are used in the treatment of the appetite. So hence they are known as the bitter glycosides. The example is the kalmeg, quassia, wood and so on. So when coming to the diuretic, so means that is going to cause the more urine out